a skilled boxer. He wants to work behind that jab to try to neutralize the punching power of Ricardo Torres.
There has only been one Greek-born fighter we could find who had ever held the title. It was a light heavyweight in the early 40s named Anton Christopoulos, who lived in Ohio.
Arnoutis is originally from Athens, lives now just outside Atlantic City, New Jersey. Brought to this country by a manager from England, Mike Michael, who scouts Greece and the surrounding area looking for fighting talent. He says Arnoutis is the best he's found, and incidentally, Arnoutis' co-trainer is Bill Johnson. About 18 months ago, Johnson's son, Levander, died as a result of injuries he sustained in a fight here against Jesus Chavez, and this is the first time Bill Johnson has been back to Las Vegas since his son died. And here is the man who will be fighting his fighter, Mike Arnoutis, Ricardo Torres. He took the fight against Miguel Cotto in Atlantic City on 3 weeks' notice, and what a splash he made, Emmanuel.
I was very impressed. That's why I want to see him again. You know, whether it was just at one time, sudden, great fight, great night, and then he can't sustain that same performance again. But I was very impressed that night. It was the same night that I think Vladimir Klitschko was fighting Sam Peter.
And one thing that Cotto learned that night, almost disastrously so, was that when he decided to trade punches with Ricardo Torres, Torres had the faster hands and had him outgunned in those trades.
And a very accurate puncher, too. He's a very, very sharp puncher. It's going to be very interesting to see how he deals with another young fighter coming up today.
Ultimately, he got sledgehammered to the body, as has virtually every Cotto opponent so far, and that ranks as his only loss. So between the two fighters, they've lost one fight. That was Cotto's knockout of Torres when Torres took the fight on 3 weeks' notice. Arnoutis versus Torres is for a vacant belt in the 140-pound weight class. Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer now for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, by win of Las Vegas, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated presents this next contest in association with Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing and Win Las Vegas, sponsored by PokerStars.net and the King of Beers Budweiser. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission and the World Boxing Organization. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout, Adelaide Bird, Harry Davis, and Jerry Roth. And inside the ring, referee in charge of the action, Tony Weeks. And now by way of Win Las Vegas, 12 rounds of boxing. This is for the vacant WBO Junior Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trimmed with blue, official weight 138 pounds, professional record 17 victories including 9 knockouts with 1 bout even. From Atlantic City, New Jersey, he's the WBO #1 ranked contender, the undefeated mighty Mike Arnoutis. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue, official weight 139 pounds. His professional record, 29 victories, including 27 knockouts with only 1 defeat. From Barranquilla, Colombia, the WBO #2 ranked contender in the world, Ricardo Mochuelo Torres.
Okay, gentlemen, caballeros, you already received your instructions. Instead of receiving instrucciones, you go right here is okay. Anything else is going to be low. Mira, aquí está bien, aquí no. Right here is okay, anything else is going to be low. Aquí está bien, aquí no. I want a good, clean fight. Yo quiero una pelea limpia. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Escúchame, cuídate, listos, ready, let's go. Vámonos.
This is a serious test for Arnoutis to see whether he can be an elite fighter. You knew him from the amateurs, didn't you,
Yes,
Daniel?
yes, I knew him from the amateurs. But this is also a good test to me for his opponent, Torres, because outside of that one great fight that he had over here with Miguel Cotto, who, by the way, they're fighting for his title that he vacated when he moves up to welterweight.
Mike Arnoutis says he's never been down. Ricky Torres is a big puncher. This is the division which Miguel Cotto vacated to move up to welterweight. Ricky Hatton intended to vacate the division, now will come back down to 140 to fight Juan Urango for a title belt in January. The other title belts belong to Junior Witter of England and Suleiman Mbaye. Winner of this fight achieves a much more prominent profile than he brought into the ring.
Well, everybody's very high on Mike Arnoutis. I haven't saw that much of him still myself. I know he's fighting a very, very talented fighter right here.
Right hand lead by Torres, left hand counter immediately by Mike Arnoutis.
What I liked, the way Torres landed the right hand and then he moved right away back out of position to make sure he didn't get hit with a counter punch.
Arnoutis came in on the strength of 3 consecutive one-round knockouts. Looks as though he doesn't have that anywhere near on his mind at this moment. Looks as though he wants to fight an intelligent first round against Ricky Torres and not give anything away to Torres' big punching power. Right hand lead by Torres. Arnoutis effectively backing away and then working his jab. Mighty Mike Arnoutis focusing to the body early. Torres trying to land something upstairs. Arnoutis has been conservative and has kept his gloves up.
You better keep your gloves up against Torres.
We've just been told that one of Manny Pacquiao's managers has been rushed to a hospital with high blood pressure. I have to assume that is not the famous Shelley Finkel. We'll wait for the identity of the manager. It is not Shelley Finkel. So those of you who are aware that Shelley manages Manny Pacquiao, he's not the one who went to the hospital. Find out who did. Very cautious first round between Arnoutis and Torres. See the intelligence of Mike Arnoutis, and you see the aggression of Torres. As soon as Arnoutis throws, Torres is stepping forward, looking to counter big.
Torres is waiting to counter punch. He's fighting very, very cagey right now, taking his time, placing his punches very well, being very patient.
I believe, Tim, that the co-manager is Nick Khan.
Well, Nick is very young to be having high blood pressure, so let's hope that that isn't the situation either. Wait and see. I am just told that it is indeed Nick Khan who has been rushed to the hospital with high blood pressure. So we wish Nick the best. Hope it's not too terribly serious. He's a young man. And when we go to the red corner, Ricky Torres will be speaking Spanish with his cornerman, our interpreter's Ray Torres. This is Bill Johnson, father of the late Levander Johnson, talking to Arnoutis.
Bring out me! Okay, Mike. Keep going what you're doing with your jab. Knock your jab out. Keep that jab out. Listen, off your straight left hand. When it's there, take that right hand behind that elbow, all right? And then
the jab brings you closer, and then you hit him with the right hand, but keep your hands up.
Okay.
Let's get some Vaseline on the eyes. Cover yourself well, protect yourself good.
You probably noticed Arnoutis' instructions are translated into Greek by his manager, Mike Michael. In round number 1, Ricky Torres 6 out of 39, Arnoutis 5 out of 54. Both were cautious and conservative and respectful of their opponents. Good left hand by Arnoutis. Now Arnoutis starts to get some 1-2s off, opening up just a little bit and giving Torres more opportunities, which Ricardo tries to seize upon immediately.
Arnoutis is fighting a very good fight, considering he didn't have the big amateur background of a lot of the kids. Very limited, but he's fighting a very intelligent fight against a very cagey fighter. Placing his punches very good. Neither fighter have been able to get a really good constant flow of any type of a rhythm yet.
Madison Max Center holds more than 18,000 in this configuration. Every seat is expected to be filled tonight. Both Pacquiao and Morales have deep, ardent followings. Pacquiao's fans, many of them fly in from the Philippines. 10 members of the Filipino Congress left Manila to come here to root for Manny. Morales' fans pile into their cars and their buses and ride up from Tijuana after they finish work at 6 on Friday.
One thing that's pretty obvious is not too much has happened, but it seems like Arnoutis has much better balance with his footwork, moves in and out much more freely and fluently than Torres. Torres is a little stiff on his legs, and if Arnoutis can punch and keep moving in and out, I think he can have a little success and maybe win a decision going down the stretch.
Right-hand lead landed for Torres there. Arnoutis landing his jab in return. Arnoutis landed a solid body punch 2 sequences ago. Has a good left to the body there after Torres chases him to the ropes, throwing rights and lefts. Arnoutis doing a good job ducking the counter right after throwing his own right.
Much more flexible with his legs and his upper body movement.
Ricardo Torres is alert enough to counter constantly when Arnoutis throws, but he has not been able to get inside with anything big, and Arnoutis, with a conservative game plan, is gradually working things toward the boxing match he wants. Round 2 coming to a close. Arnoutis gets in a body shot. Torres partially blocked with the right hand in return. And now let's go to the dressing room of Eric Morales for referee's instructions.
Things that I will be watching for: use of the forearms, elbows, shoulders, forehead, rabbit punches, kidney punches, and low blows.
Él va a estar viendo por golpes ilegales de antebrazo, de codo, de hombro, golpes detrás de la cabeza, golpes bajos, golpes en los riñones, y las mismas señales que él te dio aquí, él te las va a dar en el cuadrilátero.
I want you to obey my commands in there. Protect yourself at all times.
Obedece sus órdenes y protéjase siempre a todo momento.
Preguntas? Buena suerte. All right.
Buena suerte.
Gracias.
Buena suerte.
Yeah, if he goes back, go on him, yeah, and cut the ring off on him.
This fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. It's for a vacant 140-pound title belt. In the second round, Mike Arnoutis threw 76 punches and landed 12 by CompuBox count. Ricardo Torres 7 out of 60. Arnoutis busy now to begin the third round and landing body shots, Emmanuel Stewart. Intelligent investment early in the fight.
He's fighting a very good fight right now, you know, because Torres is just not as coordinated. He's too stiff right now.
He's obviously a good puncher, but he's having difficulty closing the gap between him.
3-punch combination by Arnoutis, followed by a couple of jabs.
That's why I said prior to the show, I wanted to see, was that just that great super night that he had that one night, which a lot of guys have, and may never find that same formula again.
In recent years, we've seen a number of fighters come from Colombia with gaudy knockout records and somehow not be able to cope with superior fighters.
Joel Julio against Carlos Quintana a couple of months ago. There were many of us in the sport, myself included, who had fallen so in love with Julio that we thought he was going to be one of the great fighters of his generation. But a very good boxer, Carlos Quintana, smoothed him in the hot weather here at Vegas, and now Julio seems to have lost some confidence.
And in this particular case here, just the fluid movement that seemingly Torres had when he fought Cotto, he's not showing it tonight. It's very stiff, and when he shoots his punches, he can't put combinations together too good and keep his feet moving with his hands as he's punching.
Cotto is not as quick as Arnoutis and does not have the kind of extended jab that Arnoutis can use from his southpaw stance. So it's a different piece of geometry here for Ricardo Torres.
And sometimes you never know the preparation. Maybe even though it was a 3-week notice, he might have been sparring with very good sparring at that time at home or whatever. And for this fight, maybe not training properly or not focused, whatever.
Increasingly, Arnoutis' jab is a factor in the fight, as he is freer and freer in letting it go, and it's establishing a tempo which Torres has difficulty dealing with.
Torres is looking for the power punch with the right hand, and pretty much that's about it.
If Arnoutis can keep his feet moving this way, keep going side to side, and keep pumping that jab, he's got the tactical advantage now. But there's a hard right hand from Torres, and a couple more power shots like that could change the fight.
Torres has put a lot of psychological and experienced pressure on him, and that may make him fold as the fight goes on.
Torres beginning to focus on his straight right hand because of Arnoutis' southpaw stance.
And this is a different league. Arnoutis has never been in this league, I don't think, professionally or amateur. Good right hook by Arnoutis.
The 3 consecutive knockouts I talked about for Arnoutis against a fighter named Jose Moreno, Mark Thompson, Michael Walker. None of those guys is as good as Ricardo Torres.
No, he temporarily stunned Torres with a short right hook, and I don't think he realized it himself.
Don't worry about that. Good round. Okay, baby. You got him missing. You got him missing, all right? I want you to make him pay with some of that shot. Give him another. I want you to make him pay with some of them shots to the body. Sucking good, Mike. Okay? Now watch going straight back. He's trying to hit you with that looper, okay? Okay. You see the shots because you're getting under them. You get under them shots back.
Come on, you're fighting like if you had nothing. What are you, hypnotized? What's the matter with you? Let's go, open up. Come on, warm up in here. Come on. Deep breath, but you gotta put pressure.
Ricardo Torres' trainer, Orlando Pineda, not happy, asking Torres to wake up, do something more. Neither fighter has been able to do much offensively. They're both landing about 15-16% of their punches, but tactically, it's Arnoutis who's fighting the fight the way he might want to fight it. And you saw that Bill Johnson was happy between rounds with the way his fighter is moving in the ring. Now Arnoutis holding his hands up as Torres gets to swing away. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
You know, Jim, I thought Ricardo Torres landed enough big right hands in the 3rd round to win that round. I got a 2-1 Ricardo Torres in points, 29-28. Very close fight so far. It's the boxing of Mike Arnoutis against that right-hander Ricardo Torres. And if Ricardo keeps landing it like he did just there, he's going to win the fight. 2-1 Torres.
I think that I have it even 1-1-1, but Torres is starting to cut off the ring better than he was earlier.
Well, Torres certainly listened to his trainer, Orlando Pineda, between rounds, because he's come out much more energetically here in the 4th round and is beginning to land some of those big shots on Arnoutis. There he lands a sweeping left hook. 2 more straight right hands for Torres. Another straight right hand. And at this moment, Arnoutis isn't throwing back.
He's letting Torres take control of the fight completely. And, you know, he's got to stand his ground and get some respect. He's got to fire something back. And he would probably be effective because Torres isn't looking for anything back, but you got to get some respect. You can't let a man just run you. And that's what he's doing. He's just forcing him to
Body
run.
shot by Arnoutis. Torres comes back with another avalanche of punches. Now we've reached a point in the fight where if Arnoutis throws once, Torres throws 6 or 7 times. Gets away with a low blow there. Tony Weeks saw it, said nothing. Arnoutis' punches not nearly as resolute as they were in the first couple of rounds, and now Arnoutis is being really bothered by Ricky Torres' power punches upstairs.
Well, the important thing is he's got Arnoutis defensive, not firing back when Torres punches, like right there.
Now Arnoutis tries to pump his jab again. Lead right hands by Ricardo Torres have turned the fight in his direction here in the 4th round.
Just pure aggression, just stepped it up a little bit, and the other guy really started to give in once he stepped it up a little bit, and that's been the big difference. Even the left hands that Arnoutis is shooting seem like no power in them.
This is the moment at which the trainer from Colombia says to his fighter, see, I told you not to give him so much respect. Just go in there and throw.
At this stage, Torres is a little weary, a little tired. He's slow and clumsy. At this stage right now, Mike should step it up and drop some hard power punches on him.
But Arnoutis' confidence has dropped, particularly after what happened in the first minute and a half of this round when Torres had his way.
Torres is very vulnerable, in particular with the right hook coming from Arnoutis, if he would throw it.
How you feel? How you feel, baby? Suck it up good. How you feeling? You all right? Okay, listen. Don't get no bang with him. Don't get no bang with him. Keep turning him and boxing. All right? Okay, listen. Run your straight left hand in right off of your jab sometime. Right? Run your straight left hand right off of your jab and turn the right hand under. Come right back.
See what I told you? Yeah, don't just cover up. Throw punches. He can't even punch. He's a powder puff puncher. Take him to the ropes and then hit him. Yeah. Look at me. You got to throw with the hard punches, overhand right, so he don't get out.
Ricardo Torres landed 33 out of 88 power shots in the 4th round after having landed 24 total punches in the preceding 3 rounds. So he completely changed the fight around after his corner simply asked him for more energy.
And you know what's interesting? I didn't see him land that much for his really clean hard power punch. He just bum rushed him, just kept rushing and pushing him all around the ring without landing any devastating punch.
Well, the same thing's happening again. He's throwing more and he's landing these punches again. And yeah, nothing is a huge power shot with perfect force and the flush landing, but he's getting the leather to Arnoutis' face.
He's taking control of the fight and heading for a big victory, maybe even a knockout the way he's going. And Arnoutis' trainer asked him to throw a straight left through the center, but most of his left hands are more like a club and hook like.
Well, you've been saying that Torres is vulnerable to a right hook by Arnoutis, and there he throws a right hook, lands it. Why is Torres so vulnerable to the right hook?
Because of the way he comes in, he has his left shoulder down when he comes in, and he doesn't seem to be looking. Most guys fighting southpaws are watching the left hand, watching the southpaw's left hand. And it's easy to catch him with a right hook when they come in. They never look for it. And Torres is no exception. Right there, he got caught.
Good straight left hand by Arnoutis. His best punch since round 1.
This is the fight that Arnoutis could win if he had the right mental stuff inside of him, where he would just sit down and dig down good. Because I don't think that much of Torres at this fight, personally, myself.
Body shot by Arnoutis. Torres landing a left and a right upstairs. Now Arnoutis lets go with 3-punch combination, 4-punch combination. Arnoutis seeming gradually to get some of his confidence back here in the 5th.
And he need to quit throwing those straight left hands through the gloves. He would land more punches.
Torres throws so hard, sometimes when Arnoutis blocks Torres' punches with the glove, Torres takes the glove right back onto Arnoutis' face. That's sort of what Jermaine Taylor was doing half the night against Winky Wright.
Yeah, but even when Winky would take a break, Jermaine would punch back with so much power that even when Winky would block the punches, he still was banging through the gloves and still busting up Winky's face to some degree.
Spoken by the man who trained Jermaine Taylor in the fight, of course.
I don't see Torres doing a lot of damage, but he is throwing a lot of punches, and in a close round, that can be the difference.
That's exactly what I agree with you, Larry. And it's a fight that Arnoutis could win easily because it's just who throws the punches.
So we're saying either fighter could win. It's a matter of who's able to keep his confidence up, establish the fight that he wants to fight, and stick with it.
Well, I think the most talented, believe it or not, is Arnoutis between the two fighters. Just mentally, I don't know if he's tough enough.
But he hasn't looked as determined as Torres in the last 2 rounds. Let's go to Manny Pacquiao's dressing room between rounds to listen to referee's instructions there.
If your opponent goes down as a result of a punch onto the canvas or into the ropes, don't throw that last punch. Because if you do, and I deem it to be a late blow and a harmful blow, instead of only giving him 10 seconds to recover, I'm going to call time, determine whether or not he can continue. If he can, I'll allow the bout to continue, but before I do, I'll take at least 1, possibly 2 points away from you as a result of what I deem to be the late blow. If he can't, it's an automatic disqualification. So if he goes down, stop, get back in that neutral corner.
And I can still punch if his gloves is not down.
Yeah, if he's not down, you can keep punching. But if he's helpless, you know, we both know, we've been around the game a long time. If he's down, you know he's down. Don't take that last punch. It's not worth it. Okay. All right. Things I'll be looking for are the use of the forearm, elbow, shoulder, forehead. All right. No rabbit punches, kidney punches, or low blows. All right. Bottom line: obey my commands in there. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions at all?
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you. All right. Ready?
Thank you.
Good luck.
As usual, Manny Pacquiao finishes with a smile, and we go to round 6 of a scheduled 12 between Ricardo Torres of Colombia in the blue trunks, Mike Arnoutis of Atlantic City, originally from Athens, Greece, in the white.
I like what I see right now at this point in the round from Arnoutis. He seems to be focusing now on being aggressive and doing some damage and not on just surviving.
Good body shot by Arnoutis, tries to drop a left hand over the top, and then tries to show the referee that Ricky Torres hit him on the back of the head. Good left hand in the exchange by Mike Arnoutis. Big left hook by Ricky Torres, and another left hook by Torres, and he just misses with the third one. Who says you can't land a left hook against a southpaw? Ricardo Torres has set some things up with the straight right hands he's landed in the last couple of rounds. Mike Arnoutis is trying to take this back toward being a boxing match, but he's going to have to be aggressive and physical to do it.
I think he's fighting the right fight right now. Torres' legs look so weak and inside, and his balance is so bad.
So Arnoutis is pounding him to the body when he can.
He's got to fight. I mean, he can't let the guy run. He's a man just like he is in the same weight. You can box him, but you're going to have to fight it sometime.
Torres is forcing him to fight his fight. Arnoutis seems willing to do it. Can he?
I don't think he has a choice if he wants to win the fight. He can't run from 6 rounds.
Good right hand body shot by Arnoutis. Torres is trying to find something upstairs, either the left or the right hand. Arnoutis showed good variety in his choices in the first minute of this round.
I think that
there's a good left hand over the top.
And if he keeps doing it, there's going to be more of that. He could stop Torres if he steps it up. Torres has shot his best punches and has not been that effective yet. And I think that Arnoutis has gotten over the mental, I hope, block that he had earlier. And if he does what he should do, he can win this fight easy.
I particularly think that body punching could turn the fight back around, Manny, because you pointed out Torres is not all that great on his feet.
No, I just think the general coordination. I think that Torres is slow and lumbering and very predictable. And more flexibility is with Arnoutis.
Torres landed a left hook. Arnoutis
there it is again.
Right hands. There's that straight left hand. Yep. He's found it in this round.
He's been open for it all night. He has no balance at all.
Torres with a left over the top. And a good body shot with the right hand. Arnoutis' best rally of the fight.
And that's what I like to see.
From Torres.
Now that's my kind of fighter right there.
Well, give Arnoutis credit. He saw when he had a fight in something outside his normal pocket, and he's trying to fight it.
Very good round for Arnoutis, who reasserted himself in the fight against a guy who had been coming on in the 3 preceding rounds.
Okay, listen up. Suck up good. The body work's starting to take its toll on this boy, okay? Now, remember, Mike, you got to keep that jab in the mix to keep him off balance, all right? Listen up. Keep that jab on to keep him off balance. Listen, you're punching in combinations good now. Straight left hands out of the... Listen, when you're rocking inside, the body work's starting to have him bent over a little bit. Look for your uppercuts. Don't stand...
7th round coming up. You're winning the fight. Don't let it give up the fight, huh? Come on. Give it all you got. You got to give it something.
Right here, you see Arnoutis starting to fire back, getting a little respect. Good punches, mainly because of the bad balance of Torres, which I alluded to earlier. And you're going to see more of this if Arnoutis keeps punching. All he has to do is punch.
Power shots in the 6th round. Torres 13 out of 63. Arnoutis 17 out of 45. That's his highest landed total of power punches in the fight. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 4 rounds to 2. 58. 56, Ricardo Torres. Jim, Mike Arnoutis had a real good round in round 6. Did exactly what you said. Did exactly what he was supposed to do. But he's got to keep it up. He's got to keep his hands moving. Keep throwing that left hand. Keep throwing combinations and throw a few uppercuts in between. Because in 4 of these rounds, Ricardo Torres has hit him too many hard right hands. 4-2, Torres. No. Keep it up, keep it up. Here we go.
hand inside by Arnoutis.
Yes, because Torres has no balance when he goes forward. His legs get all crossed, and that, once again, he's catching him again.
Solid right hook by Arnoutis. Andy landed the left. Torres landed a straight right hand in return. Now Ricky Torres lands his jab twice.
All Arnoutis has to do is keep being aggressive, taking the lead, and making Torres try to figure out what he's going to do to him, and the fight would be over with.
Good job blocking punches upstairs by Arnoutis. Cannot afford to lose too many more rounds, Mighty Mike Arnoutis, if he wants to salt away a decision victory.
Mike has a good chance of winning this by knockout. If he fights where I think it is, a good chance of winning to go to limit.
Good straight left hand inside by Arnoutis as once again Torres leaned into the punch.
Does he punch that hard, Emmanuel?
Not really, just that I don't think much of Torres. Torres is he's not the fighter that fought Cotto. He's slow, he's lumbering, he has very bad coordination, particularly on the feet. And I think that Arnoutis has mentally grown into this fight now.
And after all the energy Torres showed in the third, fourth, and fifth rounds, he's slipped back now into the envelope in which he fought the first 2 rounds.
That is again. That's it.
That's
it. Ran right into it.
Perfect right hook.
Right.
You've been billboarding that, Emmanuel.
I saw it coming in the first round.
6, 7, 8. Venga para acá.
First knockdown of the fight, and it goes to Arnoutis.
And he cannot stop Arnoutis because he doesn't have the counter coordination.
Now let's see what Arnoutis thinks about Torres' balance in the remainder of the round. But that's another good quick right hook by Arnoutis, and Torres has wobbled again.
Torres is hurt.
It's over.
Badly
it's
hurt.
Over with.
Arnoutis needs to jump on him right now. There are only 15 seconds left in the round. Body shot. Arnoutis sharp now. Torres wants to trade with him. This is where he was so dangerous against Cotto. When Cotto got him in trouble against the rope, Torres landed the counter shots.
Manny, I know we keep you around here for some reason.
All right, take some water.
We got to start making some bets one day on these fights. No.
Are you all right? What happened? Come on, drink some water. Come on, don't give up now. What happened? How's your legs? Are you all right? You okay? Okay, then every time you hit him, he doesn't do anything. So don't let him hit you.
Right here, I think you see Mike, I think is going to let him fall off balance and hit him with the left hand and the right hook or right cross, whatever you want to call it. But it's mainly just bad balance on Torres' part. Terrible balance.
Left cross, right hook, perfectly thrown. And Torres, for the second time in the round, leaning right into that hook. CompuBox numbers in 7, Torres 4 out of 47, Arnoutis 16 out of 62.
Let's go.
2-point round for Arnoutis. That puts him back into the fight on the Letterman card in a very big way. Ricky Torres was down 4 times ultimately against Miguel Cotto. Cotto's a big puncher, particularly to the body. That wasn't a surprise. Arnoutis can prove something here if he can knock Ricardo Torres out. Right hand lands for Torres. Arnoutis likes the way things are going now. Looking to land another left cross.
Torres has no legs at all now.
It looks like he's hoping that Arnoutis overcommits himself, as Cotto did, if you recall, when he first hurt him.
Yeah, but Arnoutis is fighting a very intelligent fight. I think he's not getting carried away. He's placing, taking his time. Very good fight. I would like to see him throw his right jab a little bit more.
Arnoutis is letting him get off here.
Yep.
That right hook again.
Left hook lands for Torres. Straight left hand for Arnoutis, and you can see that Torres can no longer take Arnoutis' power punches. He wobbles back 2 or 3 feet when Arnoutis lands something good.
Just right hook again.
Doesn't look like a very
excellent body shot by Arnoutis.
Doesn't look like a very long distance from here.
No, but he can't
to
see
the end of the fight.
What he needs to do is let Torres miss a punch and then step back a little step and then punch, because Torres is always out of position after he punches. The same way he scored the knockdown the first time. Let him miss a punch and then punch.
Now Torres is starting to land right hands again, and that could introduce a new element to the scoring of the fight, because of course Arnoutis looked as though he was going to be steaming away, having found the technical advantages, but if Torres goes back to landing that straight right hand, these rounds could even up again. Good hard left hand by Arnoutis. Torres lands his left hook in return. Arnoutis aggressive enough and offensive enough now that he's giving Torres more opportunities. And Ricardo Torres is letting his hands go.
And he may have won this round too. Torres may have won this round.
Which would put him back on top on Harold Letterman's card if that were the case. But I'm not going to call that. December 2, Winky Wright, one of the sport's top fighters, squares off with former 147-pound champion Ike Quartey in a middleweight bout. Also that night, former 168-pound champ Jeff Lacey returns to the ring for the first time since losing resoundingly to Joe Calzaghe earlier this year. Lacey will take on Vitaly Sipko. 1 week later, Jermaine Taylor defends his middleweight championship in his hometown of Little Rock, Arkansas. Taylor facing former 154-pound champion Kasim Umar.
And get your shots off, roll around on them, don't stand in front of them, turn them to you so you can get them clean shots off them. You know what I'm saying?
You're still winning, but you got to keep going. Get your second win. Now you got to go and do something.
Round 8 by CompuBox numbers. Torres 13 out of 70. Arnoutis 11 out of 74. In other words, it might have been a hard round to score.
I thought it was a very hard round to score. Could have been an even round if you like even rounds, which Harold doesn't, and I do.
So Harold scores the round for Torres, who goes back in front by a point on the Harold Letterman scorecard. Arnoutis had evened things up with the knockdown of Torres in round number 8. A round to go if you were going to wager on who it was who would have gas in the tank down the stretch. That was Mike Arnoutis. But Ricardo Torres staged a mini comeback in the second half of the round. Now begins to bounce around on his feet again. Good body shot by Arnoutis, and he has done much better work to the body in the fight than has his opponent, Ricardo Torres.
But his work ratio is down too much to where Torres, if he doesn't watch, could eat right back into the fight, possibly win a decision. He's going to have to pick up his punch output. He's waiting too much.
Well, what got him the lead was becoming aggressive, and now he's gone back to what lost him the lead. Although Torres is being less aggressive himself.
Yeah, and that's for. But he still, I think, probably feel he's ahead on points, and he maybe they'll be thinking that way, but he is. The urgency should be with Arnoutis for more reasons than one.
The urgency with both should be with both fighters. It feels more or less like an even fight coming down the stretch. Round 9 of a scheduled 12. There has been one knockdown. It came in the 8th when Arnoutis knocked Ricardo Torres down. Check it, the 7th is where the knockdown took place.
That's what he needs to do, continue. Just pull just a little step back to make Torres lose his balance and then punch him.
Straight left hand lands for Arnoutis. Torres again trying to counter everything Mike throws. Good quick right hand by Arnoutis. After 2 or 3 rounds of very bad balance, Ricardo Torres seems more stable on his feet now as we get ready for the last 3 rounds of the fight. This was another round in which Mike Arnoutis didn't fight at a fast enough pace, didn't seem to do enough, may have given Ricardo Torres an opportunity to win the round. Torres lands a low blow, and Tony Weeks tells him to keep him up.
Seems that knockdown has lulled Arnoutis.
Still to come, Manny Pacquiao against Eric Morales. Let's take one more look inside the Pacquiao locker room as trainer Freddie Roach laces up the gloves. Freddie, one of the busiest and best trainers in the sport of boxing.
And hard working.
Protege of the very great Eddie Futch. So he learned from a master. Futch, of course, the trainer of heavyweight champions Joe Frazier and Riddick Bowe. And Eric Morales in the other dressing room with his father, Jose Morales, who was absent from Eric's corner in the last fight. And Eric Morales said that was a big reason for his loss in the last fight. He was not as well conditioned as he had hoped or expected to be. He says, Pacquiao didn't hurt me with power punches. I simply ran out of gas. CompuBox numbers through 9. Torres 114 out of 613. Arnoutis 109 out of 610. In other words, practically dead even. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 9?
Practically dead even. 5 rounds to 4 in favor of Ricardo Torres, but the all-important points department even at 85-85 because Arnoutis gets an extra point for the knockdown. Jim, I gotta tell you something. Mike Arnoutis got nobody to blame but himself if he loses this fight because he hurt him in the 7th. In the 8th, he stands in the middle of the ring like he's doing now, stops giving him angles, stops moving, and stops punching and loses that. The 9th was very, very close. I gave it to Arnoutis, but barely. In any case, I got it all even, 85-85.
And now to begin the 10th, Arnoutis is throwing his jab again with vinegar and landed a couple of short punches behind it. Now here comes Ricardo Torres with a rally of his own, chasing Arnoutis back with straight right hands. So both fighters are stepping up the urgency level now coming into the 10th. Straight right hand for Ricardo Torres. Arnoutis feels an urge to fight back. Body shot by Torres.
Torres is working himself back into the fight again, but just through plain effort. And
Busier than Arnoutis.
Busier and a lot of punches. Maybe they're not landing there clean, but Arnoutis is not punching hardly at all. So as a result, Torres is winning the decision again.
Now Arnoutis starts to let his hands go. He's got a big minute in front of him because this may be an even fight. Mike Arnoutis needs to give himself a cushion down the stretch to try to win this decision. Ricky Torres feels the same urgency, and he's letting his hands go as a result. This is the 10th of Schedule 12. Ricardo Torres has never been past the 10th round. Arnoutis twice past the 10th. A win and a draw in fights that went the distance. Little right hand lands for Arnoutis.
Doing a lot of bouncing, a lot of prancing, a lot of pushing, but not throwing enough punches.
There's a good straight left hand by Arnoutis.
If he throws the punches, he starts winning these because he has faster hands.
Got to trust those faster hands.
Right there, he should have shot a counter punch.
Sometimes doesn't trust them enough. And there's a big left hook upstairs by Ricardo Torres. Arnoutis showing good defensive skills here.
But he's not punching back after that. A lot of opportunities he's had. I give the round to Torres.
Vamos a salir décimo. Jálale la concha, jálale la concha. ¿Ya recuperaste? ¿Ah? ¿Ya te recuperaste? Bueno, a soltarla ahora, mano. ¿Oíste? Vamos, pero pégala ahora abajo. Mochuelo, quedan 2 rounds. Ganaste 2 rounds, ganaste el campeonato del mundo, Mochuelo. ¿Oíste? Vamos a ponerle todo a esto. ¿Eh? ¿Oíste? No le des... Oh, bendito, you found a shot.
Sucking good. Pop that stick out.
Combi box numbers in the 10th round. Arnoutis, 6 out of 46. Lowest connect since the first round. Torres, 15 out of 68. Ricky Torres won the 10th round, or so it would seem. That puts him back on top in Harold Letterman's scorecard. Good left hand for Arnoutis. Starts to throw again, starts to win again.
Very simple formula. Throw punches.
Whichever fighter chooses to let his hands go and throw punches at any given moment, that's the guy who suddenly takes advantage of his chance to be on top in the fight. Arnoutis throwing his punches in this round.
When you look at the CompuBox statistics, it pretty much tell you who won the decision in most cases, who threw the most punches. Very simple. In this case right here, I think that Arnoutis has proven he can take the best punches of Torres. Now he should just step up his output himself.
Torres gets a right hand through the Arnoutis guard. Arnoutis was waiting for Torres to finish.
And now he's going back to a wide looping left hand instead of shooting a straight left hand right between the gloves and a short right hook behind it.
Good countering opportunities by Arnoutis, and he lands a right and a left. Sharply. Arnoutis blocking most of what Ricardo Torres is throwing in this round. And landing that straight left hand. When Mike Arnoutis is willing to fight with Ricardo Torres, he can beat him.
Yeah, because he has faster hands.
Not often enough, however, is he willing to fight with him to put his imprint on the fight.
No, he's about probably 65% more on defense.
But this has been a very precise round for Arnoutis.
A good right hand
a
again.
Very good right hook
Right
on the
in.
cheek of Torres, and Torres is backing up, momentarily stunned again.
He doesn't see the right hook.
One step back, one step forward for Mike Arnoutis. Clearly loses the preceding round, seems to fall behind, clearly wins this one.
Yep, but he got in position a lot of time and still didn't let the punches go and let Torres get the first punch out.
Body shot by Arnoutis.
There you go.
Chopping left hand, he lands his punches flush, takes a right hand in return. But all in all, this was a precise, well-placed Mike Arnoutis 11th round.
That he needed.
Okay. We need a knockdown or a stoppage, baby.
Okay, last round. We need to win. Okay, you gotta put it all here. Don't give it away. Yeah. Get close to him.
Okay. Faint it. Go upstairs. Look for that left hand uppercut inside to the hand, to the chin, off your right hook, off your right hook.
This is the round for your family, your kids, for Colombia. You said you were going to be champion. Prove it now.
So just as was the case in the fight between Brian Valoria and Omar Nino, both corners asked desperately for the 12th round to be theirs. Harold Letterman has this fight dead even coming to the 12th. He's as good as any scorer alive. It feels like the fight is on the table right here. Which man will fight his fight?
The one who throws the most punches will win the round.
The fight we saw earlier tonight in the flyweight division was in a similar situation. And one man wanted it more than the other.
Omar Nino, and he wound up with a draw that allowed him to keep the title belt he had won from Brian Valoria 3 months ago. Valoria once again couldn't completely solve the puzzle of Omar Nino, despite the fact that he knocked him down twice. He wound up with a draw. Arnoutis has a knockdown of Ricardo Torres in this fight. And he could conceivably at this moment become the second fighter tonight to knock his opponent down, not be knocked down, and not win the fight.
It could happen. He has so many opportunities. He gets in great position to shoot a little straight left hand right through the center, and then he doesn't do anything. He ends up letting Torres take the lead.
Well, Bill Johnson, through the interpreter, Mike Michael, asked Arnoutis for a knockdown or a stoppage in this last round, and I wonder if Arnoutis is waiting too much to throw a power punch.
Well, you know that the championship of the world is on the line. You got everything going. You know, if you let it all hang out. If you lose it by a knockout, just get knocked out, but at least try to win the championship.
Torres hasn't really landed anything clean or big in this round, and there's a perfect right hook by Arnoutis and a good left-hand shot to the body. Those are the two best punches in the round so far.
The shot is there all night long if he would throw it. The right hook or the right jab or whatever you want to call it, it works very consistently if you throw it.
Because, as you pointed out earlier, Ricardo Torres dips his left shoulder when he comes forward. That gives Arnoutis a chance to just pivot and throw that perfect right hook.
Yeah, but Torres is being smarter than Arnoutis. He is backing up and acting as the counter puncher and drawing him in, and Arnoutis is
that's when you catch him.
Lands the right hook again, and he knocks Torres off balance, and he lands a perfect straight left. Right now, Mike Arnoutis is winning the 12th round, which is what he needed to do. He's landing the cleaner shots in this round.
Straight punches, and now taking that little half a step back works all night long.
And now Torres knows he's behind in the 12th round, and Arnoutis has a look of confidence on his face, and Torres looks for a chance to come back one more time. Arnoutis sticking his jab, keeps Torres away, sticks his jab again, makes Torres start over. 10 seconds to go in the fight. Arnoutis has done what he wanted to do in the 12th round, short of the knockdown or the stoppage. But it would appear that he has cleanly and effectively won the 12th. Will it be enough to give him the fight?
I have no idea.
Don't look at me.
That's why we keep Harold around.
I got an idea.
Well, let's take a look at Harold Letterman's final card, and he agrees with me that Arnoutis won the 11th and the 12th, and that gave him a 114-113 victory on Harold's card. What was the difference on the Letterman scorecard? One moment. It took place in the 7th round, and it's emblematic of something that Emmanuel Stewart told you throughout the evening, which is that Mike Arnoutis, the more precise, faster-handed puncher, was able to land most particularly his right hook whenever he wanted to. And that right hook, after a perfect straight left, put Ricardo Torres on the canvas and created the 1-point advantage that gave him a 1-point win on the Letterman scorecard, which is unofficial. Here are the 3 judges who will score it officially. Adelaide Bird, veteran of 20 title fights. Recently had Joel Casamayor 116-111 over Corrales in their 3rd fight. Harry Davis of Canada, 18 title fights. Had Brewster ahead of Krasnicki at the time of Brewster's 9th round KO stoppage, had him winning every round. And Jerry Roth, perhaps the best known judge in the United States outside of our own Harold Letterman, known to favor aggressors, known to favor the harder, cleaner puncher. Michael Buffer standing by with the official decision on Mike Arnoutis and Ricardo Torres.
By way of win, Las Vegas, we go to the judges' scorecards. Jerry Roth scores about 114-113 for Mike Arnoutis. Adelaide Bird scores it 116-111 for Ricardo Torres. And Harry Davis scores it 114-113 to the winner by split decision. From Barranquilla, Colombia, the new champion, Ricardo Mochuelo Torres.
Ricardo Torres gets the win. And Mike Arnoutis, when he looks back at the tape, is likely to see this as a missed opportunity. Final CompuBox numbers. Torres landing 15 more punches and throwing 31 more punches overall. Emmanuel Stewart told you, the fighter who throws the most and lands the most by CompuBox count is going to win this fight. And that's exactly what happened. Power shots. Arnoutis landing 100 to 115 for Torres. Torres throwing 162 more, as he was mostly leading with the right hand, while Arnoutis was leading with his jab out of his southpaw stance. Arnoutis landing at a higher connect percentage and scoring the only knockdown of the fight, but two judges preferred Ricardo Torres. Still to come here tonight, the main event. Manny Pacquiao against Eric Morales for the third time. Morales won the first fight by unanimous decision. Pacquiao won the second fight by 10th round technical knockout. That is the only knockout loss of Eric Morales' career. And before we get to that, let's take a look at some upcoming fights. Next Saturday night,